Hey folks, it's Jared here, back with another rifle. Today I've got a 22 caliber, not a 22 long rifle or short rifle or centerfire, nothing like that. A 22 air rifle, of course. This particular one uses a nitro piston system. It's a Crossman Shockwave. It was given to me today by a friend of mine. New, has the box, but the box wasn't in the best shape. It's already been taken out, but it's still new condition. But I'm going to do an unboxing anyway, so that you can see what you might expect. So let's go ahead and get this thing open. Now, the speed that this particular model has on the box of going up to is 950 feet a second. That, of course, is with the lightest 22 pellets you can buy. Since I don't have a chronograph, I'm not sure of how fast it will actually go with standard pellets. This is what the box looks like. Ignore this strip of tape. The box got damaged. This is what it looks like. And here's the gun. The real meat and potatoes of this event, one would say. It comes with more foam, but that fell out in the back of his truck. The gun would come wrapped in a plastic cylinder, but it has already been thrown away. Very similar to the Gamma one. I like this one stock much better. Already gone. Zeroed in these sights. I like this stock. It comes with your owner's manuals, with a scope. The mounting rings have been lost, but those are easy to replace. And some pieces of foam. And a manual for your scope. Now, the scope, what I've seen of it, it's pretty good. High fidelity image. Not able to zoom like the other one, but still, it's a 4x32. Looks pretty nice, feels nice. And once I mount it on the gun, it'll probably do just fine. So, speaking of the gun, let's get to that. So the pellets I was given are these Ruger Superpoint 22. They are 17 grain. There's 200 of them in a tin. You can tell they weigh a lot more than your typical 177 pellets. Just about that. Yeah. This is a single shot break barrel, just like my other one. You break it like that. Doesn't have a traditional spring. It uses the nitro piston with the compressed nitrogen back here, using that as a spring force instead of a regular spring. It does make it quieter. I've noticed that this one is a lot quieter than the other one, which I happen to have in here next to me. It has an integrated suppressor as well, but no muzzle device. It just looks like it has one. The iron sights that are attached to it are pretty nice. I like them. They're alright. I do wish that this cheek rest was adjustable. Now, the ergonomics of this stock are much better than the other one. I like the grip a lot more. It grips easier, feels even nicer in the shoulder, and you can put your hands further up. It's not as close to your shoulder, and you can get a higher grip on the gun. You can grip all the way up here comfortably. Yeah, you can tell where the scope's going to be. It has a dovetail machined into it. Has all of the info on the sides here, caliber, don't point this at other people, that sort of thing. This rear sight block I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's because it's a different style than I'm used to. I'm used to the daisy style of sights, or to a scope. If you're wondering what the daisy style sights are, they're more like that. More like what you'd see on an older rifle, or a lever action gun with just a little slide bar and then a lift up. So still adjustable, but not my favorite. They don't work very well for lower powered guns like this, but they work all right. Crossman doesn't have that. It has what I like to call infantry style sights, and they're all the way up here, so your sight radius is going to be not the best, to say the least. However, off of that one unknown Chinese air rifle, I have the rear sight block. Interesting. I don't know where it is, But I have it. It's I like it a little more. It looks a little different. If I can't get the scope rings or find replacement scope rings, I'm either going to buy a whole new scope or just put a different rear sight block on it and get this one out of the way. Not take it off, of course, but lower it down so that it's not in my way. Take it off if I can, but not in a permanent way. And put the other rear sight block at the back so that you have a better sight picture and better sight radius. Now, if you don't know what sight radius is, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of it. The further apart that you can have the front sight and the rear sight, the better. Now, this one, of course, doesn't have the rear sight at the very rear of the gun because it can't be removed. And if it can't be removed, you can't put a scope back there. And since the compression chamber is so long, they put it up here, very front, with the brake, so that you can get a grip down here or mount a scope. And the problem with that is you have a shorter sight radius, so there's a lot of room for error, and it'll still look right, but it's wider and you can move it around more. So the further back, the better at sighting and the better your grouping will be. So if you have the choice of where to put your rear sight, put it as far back as you reasonably, comfortably, and safely can. Stock is synthetic, just like the other one. However, this one is a slightly longer gun. Let me get the other one out and show you. So as you can see, if I put them side by side, this one is about a half an inch longer than this one. Now, they always say size doesn't matter, and in this case it doesn't. But, you know, in the other case of the bore, it does. This one is in 177. This one, again, is in 22. So what does that mean for power? Well, the heaviest pellets I have in 177 are these. Gamma rockets, coming in at 9.5 grains. However, these standard 22s are 17 grain. What does that mean? Well, even though this rifle shoots 400 feet a second slower than this one will impart more damage. Why is that? Well, because this one only goes 1,300 feet a second with supersonic ammo. You're firing these pellets, it's closer to around 1,100. With this, that number's closer to 800, because these are your run-of-the-mill standard weight 22 pellets. You can find them at Walmart if you have to. After running some numbers, I'm able to accurately tell you the power figures of these rifles. Now this one, with some pellets that are around 9.5 grain in 177, delivers roughly 21 foot-pounds of energy if we assume that it slows this down to 1,000 feet a second. This one, with these standard weight 22 pellets at 17 grains, if we assume that it slows this down by 100 feet a second to 850, it pushes out a few more, roughly 28 foot-pounds of energy. That means that since this pushes out similar numbers, we can assume that it is linear. If we were to get the heaviest pellets from this gun, I've ran some math, and it could, on a good day, in the best conditions, produce maybe 50 foot-pounds of energy with 20 grain pellets, assuming that it travels roughly 860 to 890 feet a second. This one, if we assume that the pellet goes 710, and we get some of the 30 or 40 grain pellets that I've seen somewhere on the internet in 22 caliber, we can assume then that this will push out higher numbers. Why? Because simple conservation of energy. The more mass an object has, and the greater velocity that that object has, the more inertia that it has. Why does that matter? Well, bullet energy and muzzle energy in general is all about transferring energy from the gun to the bullet to the target. So the more mass or the more velocity increases how many foot-pounds of energy are coming out of the end of the gun. What does this mean? Well, you could either make the gun go faster, or you could put more weight in it. The speed will affect a little bit, but the main driving factor is weight. The higher the weight of the pellet, the more mass it has, and therefore the more inertia it is able to carry. Why does inertia matter? Well, if something's moving, it doesn't want to stop. The more inertia it's able to have, and the more momentum it can store, the better. Now, let's go ahead, get this down out to the range, and do some shooting. I'll see you there. Let's go ahead and try this one again. I'm gonna aim for that little red box over there. Let's see how we do. Firing. Not a bad shot, just a little high. I can live with that. Testing again. 3, 2, 1. Let's zero her in a little bit more. Now, this rifle still is in its break-in period of the first couple hundred shots, but it should get more accurate and more reliable the more that I shoot it. Iron. Hit just the top of the red. Gonna bring her down just a few more clicks. Take another shot. Groupings all seem pretty good, to be honest. They are nice and tight, pretty consistent. Now, my line of logic is, gun's only as good as the shooter. So you've got to know and learn your gun sights if you want to be accurate. They've got to be zeroed, sure, but you've got to learn them. Because every gun acts a little different. Let's go take a look at that target. Shot from the other side, but here are all of my shots. So here's the first one, second and third, and the fourth, I believe. So let's go ahead, take a few more shots, try and get a grouping at right on the edge here. I'm going to aim for right on the line here, and we'll see where they end up. This thing is easier to break than my other one. We'll say that about it. Other one has about a 30-pound draw weight. I believe this one is closer to 20, maybe. Smoother to draw too, since it uses compressed gas rather than a spring. Sorry. Goes right where I want her to. One click down. Let's try this again. Now, this isn't that far away, of course, but I mean, it's crosswind if I shoot that way. Can't really put it out much farther that way because the ground dips down. So we do what we can do. It's good enough for anything I'll be using it for. That one was a little high right, but to be honest, it's not that bad of a grouping. To be honest, for a rifle that's not quite broke in yet, I'm not mad. I'm pretty happy with it. Shoots well, really comfortable. I like this stock much more than the other one. The angle is better, the length is better. I like it. The ergonomics are just, it feels like a good stock. This is great. It's butt pad. That looks kind of funky, but it feels great. I wish this cheek rest was a little higher. And it looks a little weird, I'll admit. Doesn't look quite right, but it feels great. Same with most of it. Doesn't have a lot of recoil. Isn't very loud, which I like. Yeah, don't have too much else to say about it. I'm gonna get some more shot footage. Just some stuff. Shooting random things that are around, pieces of wood, all that. Fun stuff. So, See you back in just a second. All right, we're gonna do a penetration test here, point blank. So let's see how far we can get into this 2x4. Well, it's in there pretty nice and good. Didn't come all the way through, but if I had to guess, it's at least half a way through there. That's good penetration for me. Gonna do another quick penetration test on this, I don't know what size piece of board this is since it's been cut. I don't know, but it's only an inch thick, just about. So let's go ahead, take our shot. Firing. Still not quite all the way through, but this board is like frozen. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, don't have anything else really to say about this gun. I like it. Like the way it fires. I think Crossman did a pretty good job making it. First .22 rifle I've ever had. Seems good enough. Eventually I might step up in power, but, you know, man can dream. Anyways, that's going to be all for this video today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and subscribe. Shows that you like the kind of content that I'm putting out there. Helps me get shown to more people. If there's something that I could do better, let me know. I'll try it out, see if I like it, see if you guys like it. All that fun stuff. Other than that, nothing else. So, see you folks in the next one. This has been Jared, signing off.